Hi there, and welcome to my stream. Today we're going to be studying a little bit about Solana and Anchor, where we last left off. We're going to try to recall what we were up to. But before we get into that, we'll spend like maybe 15-20 minutes checking out one of the technologies that my friends, one of my friend recommended to check out. Yeah, so we'll do that one first, and then we'll head on to just this event that I'll be attending, which is what do you call it? It's Solana, like building with Solana kind of event in the Philippines here in BGC. So yeah, I think it's a little dark, so I'm just gonna make sure I just have enough lighting. Give me some moment. I think that's sufficient lighting. I think we're good to go. So yeah, let's go right ahead on to it. I'll just move this one to the left just so I can see chat, if ever. There we go. Okay, much better. Okay, let's get started. We'll start off with the right desktop. Cool. Okay, hi. We are going to be reading about FaunaDB and just looking at what it interests me with. So it's currently 7:10. We'll review it to maybe up to 7:30, and then we'll get ahead with just checking out the Solana event that I'll be attending on February, and then let's go back and review what we learned from Anchor. Excellent. Okay, so FaunaDB, the distributed serverless database. Okay, distributed serverless database. Okay, FaunaDB combines the flexibility of NoSQL with relational querying capabilities. So, it's been a while since I used NoSQL databases, MongoDB, stuff like that. So I can't remember exactly the limitations to it, but if I were to try to recall, at least from the fundamentals of it, because it's less structured as compared to relational databases like table databases like MySQL or Postgre. Because it has flexible structure, it also becomes a lot more difficult to actually query. So I'm curious about what that means, right? I think that's the hook for me. Okay, how does it provide relational querying capabilities with that kind of NoSQL? Then it also provides GraphQL and ACID consistency of SQL systems. So again, I didn't really get to work with NoSQL databases that much before, so I'm not entirely sure about the limitations of those kinds of database systems. Yeah, but I am familiar with the relational databases like Postgre, MySQL that do have those ACID properties. Delivered as a cloud API, so you don't have to worry about operations. Okay. Let's go ahead, read the documentation. Build applications faster. Start quickly with document-centric data model, powerful relational capabilities, and event streaming. Run sophisticated business logic centrally in the context of your data. So what I'm hearing here is just focus on your data, right? When you're building your application, just focus on your data. Don't even stress out too much about, okay, building ERDs first. It's just like, just define your data however way you need it to be. It's more flexible because it's, well, the way that I understand it, it's the power of the flexibility of NoSQL. That's what they're saying. So okay, doesn't have to be completely structured or fully documented. Just get something working. Just define your data model. Connectionless access via HTTPS and attribute-driven security down to the document. So when they say document in NoSQL, it's the specific row in the database. So curious about how they handle connectionless access via HTTPS. So we'll read about that more later. Interface directly from the client using GraphQL. That's fancy, so that's pretty cool. Directly just get what you need, so that's interesting. Drivers for your favorite language. Okay. Scale with confidence. Queries as ACID compliant. Locally in one region or route intelligently. Okay, so it scales. That's what he's saying. Okay. Worry less about operations. Just focus on these things. They'll handle these ones. Okay. Use with your stack of choice. If it's AWS, GCP, Azure, infrastructure as code platforms. Okay. We're able to define a schema quickly create a database with all the relations needed, the file upload. As we grow in scale, we don't have to worry about performance. Okay. Okay. Couldn't scale automatically beyond one region, so we switched to Fauna, which resulted in a 70% reduction in latency across all regions while reducing our operational costs. Interesting. Okay, sure. Fauna's multi-tenancy and attribute-based security model enables us to provide each customer with their own individual, personalized, encrypted database. Okay. Okay. Start quickly, launch a new app, modernize an existing app. Create a database in just a few clicks. Or migrate. Start for free, documentation, start for free. Okay, let's keep going. Welcome to Fauna documentation. Quick start. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, they have their own query language. Interesting. I'll probably go to the cookbook immediately, see what they can do. Move this quick start here. Cookbook, you can create documents, many documents. So it's like, yeah, it's NoSQL flexibility. Documents, functions, indexes, keys, tokens. Okay. I think let's start off with a quick start first. Okay. Just sit down for a bit. Okay. Okay. Quick start tutorials. Get started. Dashboard quick startup. Okay. Sign up for an account. Create a database so they have a GUI for it. Then your usage is what calculates for its consumption. Okay. For the costing. Browse your database. So you have your collections and your indexes the way that I remember NoSQL is like. Okay. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure if their UI is friendly because I haven't really used it. But yeah, this is just how you'll be able to show your document. It's just a snapshot because it's just some object. Okay, functions, SQL views. Okay. User-defined functions contain business logic that runs on servers similar to stored procedures. Okay. Try some FQL. Now that we know some basic concepts, click on the shell. Get ref collection. So you specify the schema and then which ID. So from the collections product, get the reference with the ID 202. Get the single document. Then it would return the object. Okay. Hover your pointer over the eye icon, the time elapsed. So you'll see the information. Okay. But you can also interact with it with GraphQL. Okay. GraphQL database, GraphQL schema. So you define your schema manually. Yeah, that makes sense because you're just defining collection information. GraphQL is strongly typed. So import the schema. Creates the necessary classes and indexes to support the schema. I mean, I guess this is one of the major things for me as a software developer. I really like the new databases that automatically give me type hints based on how I've strongly typed the data structures. So, yeah, I just have to think about my data structures once, thoughtfully, and then it should be good. But because we leave the collections as they are, like you know, you can have whatever way you wanna, store it. This is another thing to think about, I guess, or at least this is where you have to think about it. So you do have that flexibility of however way you want to store it, but you still have to think about your types. So it's a minor flexibility, different ways of how your data might be structured. Okay. Click import schema, create a document. These are schema definitions. And then he suddenly created a to-do. Who defined this function? Or maybe it's automatically created with that naming convention. Create and then the name of the collection. So create and the name of the collection. And then title. And then the sequence of the data types. So there's some magic going on there that FaunaDB is doing for you. Okay. And then the create to do produces this one. Okay. All to do's, IDs, title, completed. Okay. Well, GraphQL famously solves the overfetching and underfetching. Sometimes causes another serious problem. Too many round trips to the server. The N+1 problem. Typically, there are two approaches to solve this. The first is query batching or caching with a data loader. But such tools introduce complexity. Yeah, caching is complex. And don't solve the entire problem. You still end up with more than one round trip to the server. Second is to generate one query from each GraphQL query. But this sometimes results in a monster join that can choke the traditional SQL databases. Instead of joins, Fauna uses a strategy more akin to what graph databases call index-free adjacency. By nesting map or get queries, FQL maps perfectly on the execution plan of a GraphQL query, efficiently walking down the GraphQL tree and retrieving nested documents. So it's basically some processing or analysis before that query is performed. In other words, any given query you send to the GraphQL API always incurs only one single request to the database and does so efficiently. So it's a language transformation. define your GraphQL, and then it optimizes the query to the database. Okay. So not really unique. It's not only FaunaDB that does this. If I understand correctly, Hasura does that as well, as they have a query planner as well. But they don't define their own language. So I think that's the curious part for me. Like, how is, what exactly does the FQL introduce? Like, that's new, right? Okay. Client application, just how to get started. Okay, understanding Fauna. I'm kind of curious about their language, so let's check this one out. How to use the Fauna query language, the drivers, features, functionalities. So there's different drivers. Okay, let's use FQL. If you're new to FQL, basic CRUD. Okay. Creating documents. So in JavaScript, you say perform a query. Okay, which is create, which is technically a mutation for a collection called fruit at index 1. And its data is like apple, colors, red, green, quantities 15. And then you perform it. It's some kind of promise. You get a result, return value, or there is some error. Return value of create contains the complete document, including a ref, which uniquely identifies the new document and a creation timestamp. Okay. So this is what they mean by their FQL. So FQL is just their adapter language, I think. Meaning the way that you perform your queries and mutations, it follows this kind of functional composition kind of notation. You're performing a query. I am getting a reference to the collection with this ID. Okay, cool. If you're updating, this is what I am updating. If I'm deleting this one. Okay. Query composition. Okay. Functional programming refers to the construction of programs composing functions. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's a functional language, highly composable. Okay, sure. Composability. Every Fauna query is made up of a single expression. An expression can be one of FQL's data types. Of a function call can involve subordinate expressions. So it's functional. That's how he's saying it. The queries are functional. Okay. This is interesting because if you are writing if you're programming and you're using functional programming, there's optimizations that you can do as long as your inputs are the same. So if every input in your query is made up of a single expression and you perform that query repeatedly, well, the database is stateful. I was going to lead up to possibly that the queries can be optimized or might return, the same values, but things can actually happen in between queries. So let's just keep reading. So if you do query.do or q.do, you just get the last value, but if you put it as an array instead of q.do, then you get all of them. Conditional logic, if true. Okay. Okay, so you can do functional or declarative definitions of your queries. Okay. 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 Okay, so it's just another way of doing functional programming, at least for your queries. Okay, that's what FQL is. Okay, other things that interest me before we finish, because we have like 90 seconds. Let's check out best practices. Defensive query. Tools. So what do they provide? They have a dashboard, right? Like the place where you can create collections, view your collections and your data. Docker image to run it on your own. So I think this is great if you're just gonna try it out. Just run a Docker compose of it. A CLI tool to run queries that you have defined declaratively. So that's convenient, actually. You just run your queries directly there. Then you have an extension to browse on VS Code. Okay. Overall, it looks okay. I guess if you are, I guess, from the perspective of like, okay, I just want to have some kind of database available. I'm gonna go through a hackathon. Just run a Docker compose of it, and then you can just store your store your data however way you want it to be in your collection. Just run fast, right? Then if I would still probably prefer to define your GraphQL, because GraphQL just solves a lot of interfacing with your database. And I think FQL also provides those kinds of automatic create, delete kinds of operations, CRUD operations through GraphQL. Yeah. So I guess if I'm really pressed for time, if like I only have a day or 2 days to do a hackathon, and I might not like spend like in my head I wouldn't want to spend time thinking about entity relationship diagrams and stuff like that, and I might consider spending some time studying a little bit more NoSQL and try out FaunaDB. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. They also have driver support for Go, which I like. I'm happy about that. Yeah, but whatever works for you, whatever's familiar, whatever gets the job done. It's interesting. Okay, so that's it for FaunaDB. We're gonna go ahead and just talk a little bit about the event that I'll be joining. So I just heard about this event, Building the Future with Solana. It's gonna happen in BGC on February 3, evening time, 6 to 10 p.m. Quite far from where I am, but let's see. Join us in establishing the grassroots of Solana's future. Top-notch engineers. There will be hands-on talk. Casual, relaxed atmosphere. Sounds good to me. Okay. Just bring your laptop, willingness to learn. We'll do something. Come with your Solana wallets. Participate in NFT raffles. That's cool. Limited foods and drink will be provided. Ingress networking, protocol design, role of on-chain analytics, Metaplex standards for NFT gaming, how to learn and earn on Solana. Yeah, and then the builder networking. Okay, sounds good. We'll explore that. So let's get back to Anchor. Now it's been so long since I tinkered around with Solana and Anchor. I've been still coughing a little bit. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. I think I have a Solana folder here, and we can go to Anchor and check out their getting started options. Yeah, okay. So what do we have? Installation, jump, da 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 da. I think we did the tic tac toe last time, right? So let's check that program out. I think it was cd anchor hello world. Let's check that out, what it was like. Anchor hello world. Hi. Yep, this is the tic tac toe example, because in its unit test we have some kind of thing that's going on here. Okay, now I can't remember exactly how it worked out. I remember we started Solana, the program first. So let's open up a new tab for that. Let's open up another one and another one, and I can't remember what the commands we used before. Solana balance, airdropping myself stuff. Okay. I can't remember how to run like a cluster, so let's check that out. This is Rust development, and then playing it. So I'll go check out Intro to Solana first. Remember how we actually started everything. Okay. Start Solana CLI cluster. Solana test validator. That's the command. Solana test validator. Then there should be a logs, right? Can't remember how to say the logs. Can't remember how to see the logs. Then just ask it. Solana test cluster view logs. Solana logs. Okay, so no transactions. This is just going on. Okay. Okay. We alive. See what our balance is. We have a lot. Okay. Okay. So our Solana's running. Let's just read the source code again, at least from the test perspective. And then later let's check the Rust code, right? So we've been brushing up on our Rust. So we have the play function, and we access the program. the method's called play. The anchor hello world program. Pass the accounts. Can't remember how I ran tests here. I'm just gonna close off the ones here that I don't need. Live share, we're gonna hide this one. Kubernetes, GitLab workflow, Terraform, not really needed now. GitHub, don't really use it. This is enough. Okay, we have some update on OpenAI API. I can't remember how I ran my tests here, so I'm just gonna go with checking the package JSON if there is a test here. Scripts, lint, and fix. Okay. Is it just jest? Oh, I don't have jest. Testing the setup instruction. Oh, you just do anchor test. Okay. Anchor test. Oh, but it's not deployed. Oh, what? Your configured RPC port is already in use. So I think this means that we shouldn't be running this one, or at least this one. Let's do that again, anchor test. So it builds a new test cluster, runs the tests, double checks that it works, and then it's done. Okay, cool. Okay. So what was able to do? It was able to test setup game. So created a key pair. Player 1's wallet. Player 2's wallet. Set up a game using player 2. The game key pair is this one, player 1. And then we sign. So I'm not entirely sure what this means. So I think signer basically means who's paying for this transaction on the blockchain. So this is saying that this new one is what's gonna be signing. Let's see. It's been a while since I actually contributed to Stack Overflow. Oh, they have Solana. Okay. Yeah, Stack Overflow between a signer and accounts in Anchor. Where should they be used? What happens? So I'm just gonna put this one here first and put it here. And then we're just gonna put this under Rust. Okay. Maybe that's another activity we can do. Just hang out in Solana Beta. Just consume stuff there. Okay, where were we? Okay. So the signer is the person who pays for it. The game is a reference to the game. So player one. The one who pays for it would be the program owner. Does that make sense? Player 1 is not a key pair, but the wallet of the program's provider. Provider details are defined in anchor.toml. The provider serves as a key pair that pays for and therefore signs all transactions. Then we send the transaction. Okay. You have to add the game key pair here because whenever an account gets created, it has to sign its creation transaction. We don't have to add player 1 even though we gave it to the signer type in the program because it is the program provider and therefore signs the transaction by default. So I was able to set up the game. I think play is a function that I just defined, right? Play is a turn. Right. I can strongly type this naman. That's something we can do. I just don't wanna. Is there a way to automatically do it? There you go. Okay. Right. So maybe this just needs to be signer. There we go. These get stripped out by TypeScript anyway later on. It's okay. I just want to double check that my changes here works. Still does, okay. But at least now I have my autocompletes, which is convenient. Okay. So let's just put some kind of is this even in a commit? No, it's not. Okay. No need to make it fancy. This is fine. Do they have they do. Okay. Okay, so I remember, I kind of remember where we last left off. Yeah. So basically we play the game. That's what it happens. Right? And then, yeah. And then we can do this one again at the end. Game state should be equal to how many moves? So 1, you play 1 move. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think it's 6. So we've done this expectation already. Well, technically the 1's there already. That's the state already. Yeah. Checking the state. Okay, so we're done. We're done with this example. Okay. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what I actually want to do in the thing that I want to do with tome.gg. So I'm imagining building out tooling that enables people to make video content about games um, for use in education, right? And my goal is to properly structure an incentive uh, to to create on that platform, right? So I was imagining something like um, imagine there are 100 units um, of I don't know. Let's say I don't know. TME or tome, right? Um, so what happens is usage of the video production tool to automatically create content on your platform, to automatically create short form content, create short form video content has costs. Okay, so I want to run simulations of what it would look like if you were to produce, if we were to produce content, something like this, right? If you're producing a new piece of content, so let's run an example here, right? So, uh, Darren makes a video content, and I produce um, gaming video content, right? The gamer who played. There is audio, uh, background music, so musician. So let's order that a little bit more organized. Background music. There might be, say, um, images used. So this might be an artist. Images, you know, images, artist one, right? And then something like this, right? And then this is the creator. This is your role. This is your source content, yeah. And this is your content producer slash IP owner. Let's just put that there. Okay. Yeah. This is purchased license, right? Or Creative Commons license. Right. Okay. So so this is debit, credit, right? So this is 100. This is um, um, so creator uses tome.gg tooling to create short form video, right? And what happens is this one would be 50% evenly split, right? So what's gonna happen here is tome.gg administrator. Right. So credit 5. There's 95 left. So this would be then this would be There we go. Okay, so what we're going to be checking out, sorry about that. What we're going to be checking out would be yeah, so this one would be content creator distribution. For the tome.gg content creator distribution, right? And what happens here is this would be 50 split up between this one, so 12.5, right? 25, 25, that's 50, right? Okay, may sobra. It's because of this one, right? Okay. Tome.gg redistributes the incentive via CCD, right? So if this happens, then we would then this is gonna have another one of these. Debit from the creator. I think we're gonna do debit for the musician. Credit for the musician. Fine. Let's reduce the screen size. Okay. So the creator gives 100 space for 100, right? Then what happens here is And then let's put another 2 columns here. Mm-hmm. 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 So 45. So this guy gets 45. Tom gets 45. Pero the 45, um, so this is this one. Mm-hmm. And then, right. So this is going to be, say, it's 45. We give it like, let's say, 15, 10, 10, 10, right? Like it might be something like that. The musician gets 15 units, 10, 10, 10, right? Then what happens here is the creator got charged 100 units. Um, so this would be this one minus this one, right? Right, this is their gain. This is the gain. Okay. Okay. So the creator, Tom.gg. This is musician, artist one. So let us put here a bit of color. Okay. Yep, it's okay. So this is what it would look like. The creator spends 100 units. Tone.gg gets 5%. And there's an even split. But then this is how it could be structured. I think that's the thing that's gonna be confusing here is how does Tome determine its content creator or creator compensation distribution? How does Tome.gg decide that? I think that's the big question mark. But the idea there is it's not all equal. It's not all equal, the contributions of the content creators. So how do you properly compensate them? Mm-hmm. 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 Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to be able to see what this would look like. Mm-hmm. I think this is the big question mark. because there can be rules, right? There can be rules. Like for example, um, uh, there can be a rule for how much compensation is given to multiple musicians involved in a certain piece of content. For example, if you only did like maybe 10% of the music, uh, then you get that, right, or something. Um, it's a curious problem. Very curious. Hmm. And this is just the production, right? This is just the production of the the video. It's not the consumption of the video, but the consumption of the video can just be something like this, but it's just scaled down, right? So like 1%. So instead of 100 units, the consumer pays just 1% of what it took to produce the content. Hmm. Curious. I'll be thinking about this some more because I'm not entirely sure also. Because like the challenges that YouTube and Twitch would be experiencing right now is there's going to be content creators that are flagging Twitch or YouTube about how their content is being misused. So copyright strikes, right? Um, yeah. But I guess the good thing about tome.gg is um, it's tooling that's going to help you make sure you compensate your fellow creators. So it's a conscious effort to structure the consumption of the content properly. But then, yeah, creators can potentially fail to what do you call this? Mm, creators can potentially fail to give due attribution or acquire appropriate licenses for the use of whatever content or literary works. So this is very curious. I am not entirely sure. But yeah, I'll think about it some more. Um, but maybe we can end with defining what exactly is the problem. I think the problem is um, this one. How do we determine what a good kind of calculation for creator compensation distribution is appropriate? It's definitely going to be mathematical, but then what factors, right? So that might be what factors do those does the compensation rely on? How do I earn more as a creator? Right? So I think it's good to have this at least. From Tom's perspective, I guess certain compensation models can be designed, and then compensation models. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then this boils down to the question of yeah, boils down to the question of what is fair compensation. So I guess it also depends. It also depends on what the original creators, agree to when providing a license, a usage license. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, like when something like this is created, then when people actually do see your content, your music, or your imagery, when it's viewed in in the space of like Web3, you immediately receive compensation from directly from the consumer, right? Someone who's watching the video that was created. So I create the video. You watch the video. As a consumer, you paid 1 unit. That 1 unit gets distributed appropriately. Mm-hmm. That's the dream. Thing right now is that there's this chasm of who's receiving the benefit, right? Mm-hmm. People are just saying, okay, I'm not gonna look for it anymore. There's just this kind of wait and hope that your popularity strikes or that you get into links, but this brings the reward or the incentive directly to who's watching. And I guess from a transaction perspective, if you analyze the logs, you'll be able to easily see who is driving traffic to your uh, to your creations, right? If I made some kind of music and then it's commonly used in tome.gg and then I'm receiving a lot of royalties there, then that's something to explore, building a relationship with the people that are actually um, driving revenue for me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So like, so like, um, so we can duplicate this one. So this one might be, um, what was this one? This is 15/45. This is 66, 30, 15, yeah, 33 for music, 66 art, right? But if this one was example even, right, then this would be equal to 45 divided by 3 or divided by 4. They would all get 23.75, right? So example is even. Example is heavy on the arts, heavy on music. Mm-hmm. I guess it would depend, right, on what you're producing. So if I am, let's say I am, yeah, I'm not gonna overcomplicate the model right now, but then there's just different ways that the incentive can be redistributed. I haven't really thought about it that much yet, but we'll get there, right? So I think we'll end the stream there. It was a good time. Got to explore quite a few things. Thank you for stopping by and joining us today. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.